வெல்கம் பேக் டு மை யூடியூப் சேனல் மாரவலாஸ் கல்வி. போன வீடியோவில் +2 ஃபிசிக்ஸ் வால்யூம் 1 இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் கொஸ்டின்ஸ் பார்த்தோம். இந்த வீடியோவில் +2 ஃபிசிக்ஸ் வால்யூம் 2 2 மார்க்ஸ் 3 மார்க்ஸ் 5 மார்க்ஸ் இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் கொஸ்டின்ஸை பார்க்கலாம். ஆன்சர் த ஃபாலோயிங் கொஸ்டின்ஸ் 2 மார்க்ஸ் and 3 marks. What is optical path? Obtain the equation for optical path. State Snell's law of refraction. What is angle of deviation due to refraction? What is principle of reversibility? What is relative refractive index? Obtain the equation for apparent depth. Why do stars twinkle? Very very important. What are critical angle and total internal reflection? Explain the reason for the glittering of diamond. Important. Write a short note on the prisms making use of total internal reflections. How does an endoscope work? Very very important. What are primary focus and secondary focus of a lens? Arrive at lens equation from lens maker's formula. Obtain the equation for lateral magnification of thin lens. What is power of a lens? What is angle of minimum deviation? What is dispersion? How are rainbows formed? Very very important. What is Rayleigh scattering? Why does sky appear blue? What is the reason for reddish appearance of sky during sunset and sunrise? Very very important this one. Why do clouds appear white? Again this one very important. What is the significance of electromagnetic wave theory of light? Write a short note on quantum theory of light. Define wavefront. What are the shapes of wavefront for source at infinite, point source and line source? What is Huygens principle? What is interference of light? Obtain the relation between phase difference and path difference. Very very important. What are coherent sources? What is diffraction? What is Fresnel's distance? Obtain the equation for Fresnel's distance. Mention the difference between interference and diffraction. What is diffraction grating? What is resolution? What is Rayleigh criterion? What is polarization? Very, very important. State and obtain Molu's law. List of uses of polarides. What is Brewster's law? What is double refraction? Discuss about Nicol prism. Very, very important this one. What is the use of an erecting lens in a terrestrial telescope? What is the use of collimator in a spectrometer? What are the uses of spectrometer? What is myopia? What is its remedy? What is hypermetropia? What is its remedy? What is astigmatism? What is its remedy? What is presbyopia? இதிலிருந்து உங்களுக்கு 2 கொஸ்டின்ஸ் எதிர்பார்க்கலாம். What is photoelectric effect? And list out the laws photoelectric effect. How will you define threshold frequency? This one very important. What is a photocell? Mention the different types of photocell. Important. Write the expression for the de Broglie wavelength associated with a charged particle of charge q and mass m when it is accelerated through a potential v. State the de Broglie hypothesis. Why do we do not see the wave properties of a baseball? This one important. A proton and an electron have the same magnetic energy. Which one has greater de Broglie wavelength? Justify. Write the relationship of de Broglie wavelength lambda associated with a particle of mass m in terms of its kinetic energy k. Lambda, this one very important. Derive an expression for de Broglie wavelength of electrons. Define stopping potential. What is surface barrier? What are cathode rays? Very important. Write the properties of cathode rays. இது ரெண்டுத்துல நாளைக்கு ஏதான ஒரு क्वेश्चन எதிர்பார்க்கலாம். Write down the postulate of Bohr-Hatem model. What is mean by excitation energy? Define the ionization energy and ionization potential. Write down the drawbacks of Bohr-Hatem model. What is distance of closest approach? What is isotone? Give an example. Show the nuclear density is almost constant for nuclei with Z is greater than 10. What is mass defect? What is mean by radioactivity? Give the symbolic representation of alpha decay, beta decay and gamma emission. Very important. What is mean by activity or decay rate? Give its unit. Define Curie. Important. What are the constituent particles of neutron and proton? Important. Define forbidden energy gap. Define temperature coefficient of resistance. What do you mean by doping? Very important. Distinguish between intrinsic and extrinsic semiconductors. Very important. Draw the input and output waveforms of a full wave rectifier. Distinguish between avalanche breakdown and Zener breakdown. Very important. What are logic gates? Why are NOR and NAND gates called universal gates? Very important this one. Define barrier potential. What is rectification? List the application of light emitting diode. Very important. Draw the circuit diagram for a forward biased PN junction diode. Very important. Give the principles of solar cells. Very important. What is an integrated circuit? What is modulation? Define bandwidth of transmission system. Again very important. What do you mean by skip distance? Give applications of radar. Important. What is mobile communication? Important. What does radar stands for? Important question. Fiber optic communication is gaining popularity among the various transmission media. Justify. Important question. Give the definition of intensity of light according to quantum effect. Important one. What do you mean by how do we obtain characteristic X-ray spectra? X-ray spectra. Characteristics X-ray spectra. Very important. Answer the following questions. 5 more questions. Describe the Fizeau's method of determining the speed of light. Derive the equation for acceptance of angle and numerical aperture for optical fiber. Obtain the equation for lateral displacement of light passing through a glass slab. Obtain lens maker's formula and mention its significance. What is dispersion? Obtain the equation of dispersive power of a medium. Prove law of reflection using Huygens principle. Prove law of refraction using Huygens principle. Reflection using Huygens principle. Refraction using Huygens principle. These two are very important. Obtain the equation for resultant intensity due to interference of light. Obtain the equation of bandwidth in Young's double slit experiment. Important. Discuss about the simple microscope and obtain the equations for magnification For near point focusing, normal focusing. Explain about compound microscope and obtain the equation for the magnification. இந்த ரெண்டுத்துலேருந்து ஏதான ஒன்று கேட்பாங்க. வெரி வெரி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். டிஸ்கஸ் அபவுட் astronomical telescope. Very very important. Explain the experimental determination of refractive index of the material of the prism using spectrometer. Important. List out the law of photoelectric effect. Give the quantum concept of energy proposed by Max Planck. Obtain Einstein's photoelectric equation with necessary explanation.